Hello, my name is Brian Coward. I'm the EDM product line manager for Makino. And today we're going to be talking about Makino's new UX wire EDM machines. So there are two different sizes of the UX. We have the UX3 and the UX6. You can see them there in the picture. Let's go over some of the highlights. So what is the UX wire EDM machines? You may be familiar with our U-Series machine. The UX is built on the same platform as the U-Series with some improved features. So it's the latest evolution in our U-Series. Some of the highlights of the differences would be the wire guide system. So the UX has the Hyperdrive Extreme wire guide system, which is the same wire guide system that is on our U6 Heat Extreme, our U3i, U6i, our U32J, U53J, and our UP6 Heat. Those are all higher end machines that are currently in the lineup of Makino. So we've taken that system and applied it to our base machine. In addition, in the past we had a U3, U6, U3 Heat, U6 Heat. So the standard U3 did not have the heat technology. For the UX product line, heat technology is standard on the machine. So there's no difference between, there's no UX heat. UX has heat already on it. So what's different about the Hyperdrive Extreme guide system? So it's our enhanced round guide. So it has our enhanced, we call it HDE for Hyperdrive Extreme. It's a different guide than our standard U3, U6. And it provides the capability to do jetless threading, which allows us to thread at the wire break point. It also enhances the threading capability of small holes. So we can go to even a smaller hole because we're not using the water to thread, we're just using air and no jet, no water jet. Also has an improved annealer on it, again, which enhances the AWT. Energizer plate positions during threading, and enhanced lower jet. So all those improvements are there to enhance the threading capability of the machine. So the Hyperdrive Extreme wire guide system is much more efficient at threading. And in addition to that, it also has the Hyperdrive tensioning control system, which is a servo motor controlled tensioning system, which allows us to control the tension of the wire more precisely. So just to show you some differences of what the heads look like right here, you can see on the left we have the UX series upper head and the UX series lower head. Next to the picture of the head, we have a picture of the guides. So the guides themselves are different. The heads look similar if you compare them to the pictures on the right for the U-Series upper head and U-Series lower head, but there are some differences. And Anthony will go through a walk around of the machine and he'll show you what some of those differences are. But you can see the guides are different. So these guides aren't interchangeable. It is a completely different system over the standard U-Series. So now I want to show you a quick video that's going to show you the jetless threading capability of the Hyperdrive Extreme. So in this video, this is just a test, it's a test tube that we use to test the threading capability. You can see it's an interrupted cut because there's two holes drilled through the tube. And you can see there's no water coming out, it's just using air. The hole that it's going through right there is a 15 thou diameter hole with a 10 thou wire. So you can see you can thread through a very, very small hole. So that's the jetless threading capability. So the next feature that is, in terms of technology that's unique to the UX machine, is the heat technology. So this is standard on the UX, where you've got two large 2.0 MPa pressure pumps on the machine. The U-Series would have a standard of a 0.75 pump, so this is a much larger pump. which allows us to have more flushing, which is going to improve our cutting speeds. Same thing as all Makinos, independent pumps for faster reaction to changes in the flushing that plays into the adaptive control. Because we use 2 pumps instead of 1, you do get double the horsepower or more flushing, which is going to provide faster machining and greater precision and also less wire breaks. In addition to that, the adaptive control will automatically adjust parameters based on the flushing conditions. So it's a constant feedback in the flushing system, and it will adapt as it senses changes in flushing. And so on this video, you can see the flushing there. It's very high flushing, a lot of pressure coming out. So that pressure and improved flushing, what does that do for us? We've got high volume flow because of that. That equates to higher power. That means we can put more power to the wire because we're flushing the gap better, which means we're removing the debris faster, which is going to allow us to burn faster, because if we remove that debris quickly, we can put more power to the wire, don't have to worry about wire breaks. All right, there's a couple examples here that I have to talk about the heat technology. You'll hear people talk about heat technology, and the first thing they'll say is it improves cutting in unsealed conditions. That's 100% true. That is where the biggest advantage comes in. So this die-cast insert on the left you can see here would be a prime example of a unsealed cutting condition, right? Because of the shape of the part. All these tests were done with 10 thou brass wire because that's our baseline. That's what we're going to use as our baseline. So in the U6, cutting that part took us 9 hours and 15 minutes. By using the UX6 and the heat technology, which is our improved flushing capability, the same part took 6 hours and 17 minutes. So about a 30% improvement in the cycle time. But it's not just unsealed machining where this is an advantage. It's also going to be an advantage even if I'm sealed. And the reason for that is I'm still able to get more flushing pressure because I have bigger pumps. So this example on the right, the die plate, you've got 6 hours and 16 minutes on the U6, and that would be a normal sealed off condition where we're using 0.75 MPa. But on the U6, I've got 4 hours and 58 minutes, so just under 5 hours using high-speed technology. This was all 3-pass machining as well. So it's a 1.2. It could actually go faster than that, but this is real-world stuff of what we're trying to create this part and stay within tolerance. So even in the sealed condition, it's about a 20% improvement in cycle time. So heat is a very, very valuable technology that is now standard on the UX machine. So right now, let's go out to the machine, and Anthony is going to give you a walk around of the machine and kind of point out the highlights of the standard configuration of the UX3 machine that's in our showroom here in Auburn Hills.
Thanks, Brian. So this is our UX3 series machine. Starting at the top here, we now have our Hyperdrive Extreme wire drive system, which is standard on this machine. With this wire drive system, comes with a 22-pound spool. We do have a high capacity option, which goes up to 35 pounds. Working our way up here, we have our servo-driven D-shaft roller. With this roller, we can control tensions in more fine increments, which then leads to sharper internal and external corners in our workpiece. Working our way down here is our jet system. So with this wire drive system, jetless threading is standard, so we can thread in the kerf or into small holes if needed. As you see too, we have our hardened 3-sided work table right here, as well as, of course, Makino's famous Energizer or power contact indexing system. So it's as easy as taking the Energizer out, indexing it once, putting it back in, and you're ready to go. Something that's also unique on this machine is the keyboard and mouse is now standard, which I personally like a lot. Now, let's walk over to the side here. Walking over to the side of the machine now. So with this machine, heat technology is now standard. So behind this panel, we have our high pressure flush pumps. Over to the left here, we have our filtration system. 4 filters is standard on this machine. Now, something that's really nice about these filters is there's a quick disconnect function. So if I want to change my filters out, I just simply disconnect, pull out my dirty filter, put my clean one back in, connect it back up, and I'm ready to go. Also at the top, we have a purge button. So what this button does is it sends compressed air through our filters to flush all that dirty, mucky water out. So when you do take out and replace your filters, you're not leaving a trail of water through the shop. Now, working our way to the back of the machine, nice open layout and design. It's nice for ease of maintenance. See right here, we have a few greasing ports right in reach, as well as our wire bin. Nice thing about this wire bin is it is on wheels, so we can just take this in and out, throw all of our wire in the scrap bin, put the bin back in, and bam, we're ready to roll. Working our way back to the front of the machine. So that was the tour of our UX3 series machine. Again, standard on this machine is we can go all the way up to 12 thou wire and all the way down to 3 thou wire. Now, back to Brian in the Experience Center.
All right, thank you, Anthony. So now that Anthony's gone through the machine and pointed out the highlights, I just want to point out some of the standard specs in comparison of the UX3 and the UX6. So on our UX3 machine, it's essentially same. It's going to be the same size as our U series machines, 14.5 by 10.6 and 8.6 in the Z. On the UX6, which is going to be our larger machine, basically 25.6 inches in the X, 17.7 in the Y, and 16.5 in the Z. As Anthony pointed out, both the machines come standard with a 3-sided hardened table. Max weight of max work weight, workpiece weight on the UX3 is going to be roughly 1,300 pounds, and then 3,300 pounds on the UX6. So these machines can handle a really big, heavy part. And again, the pressure capability of the machine with those larger pumps is going to be 1.6 MPa on the UX3 and 1.6 as well in the UX6. And both machines are capable of running 3 thou diameter wire, as Anthony pointed out. So where does that machine fall in the lineup of Makino machines? And on our product pyramid here, you can see it's going to be precision machining. It's going to fall in exactly where the U6 heat was, where we've got a shape accuracy of plus or minus 5 microns or plus or minus 0.2. So very, very nice machine. So that's the quick overview of the UX machine. Now myself and Anthony are available for any questions that you might have.
All right. Thank you, Anthony, for giving us that overview of the machine out in the showroom. So we are available for questions right now. I want to point out where you can put in your questions. There is a chat function up in the upper right-hand side of your screen where you can type in a chat. There's also a Q&A location where you could type in a question there as well. So we are ready for any questions that you might have concerning the new UX3 and UX6 machine here at Makino. Okay, well, if no one has a question in here yet, there were a couple questions that I did get ahead of time from some people. So the first question was, what is the best surface finish capability for these machines? So that's a good question. The UX3 and UX6 would be the same capability in terms of surface finish. So the machine standard will come with a capability of getting a 10 micro-inch RA in steel, and you can get down to a 6 micro-inch RA in carbide. Now there is an option available on both machines, which is the we call it the crystal circuit. And what that does is give you, it's an extra circuit that goes in the generator, which will get you down to a better surface finish. And that's very easy to be retrofit on any machine. And if you have that option on the machine for steel, we can get down to a 6 micro-inch RA finish. And for carbide, it'll take us down to a 3 micro-inch. So it does improve our surface finishes considerably. It basically cuts them in half for both. So looks like Juan here had a question. The main advantage of the dry filters. Well, the advantage is it's the weight, right? Because they're an inside out filter, which means the water is inside the filter and then the dirt is being caught into the filter material. But there's always water inside of the filter when it's running. So in order to change the filter, without having that purge system, it's going to be heavy and it'll be full of water. So before we had a purge system, this is true on anybody that has a filter like this, you're going to have to tip it up and pour all the water out, right? Well, that can cause a mess. I'm speaking firsthand. And you can spill water on the floor and then you got to clean it up and all that kind of stuff. So the nice thing about that air purge is that it's going to get all of that water out. It'll make the filter lighter for you to carry and to dispose of, and you don't have to worry about spilling any water on the floor, which is nice. Juan also has questions about the 2 pumps for flushing, and then what are the total number of pumps in the machine. So yes, so there's 2 pumps for flushing. There's an upper and a lower pump, but then there's also an ion pump that pumps through the resin system. Then there's a circulation pump, and then there's a fill pump. So there's 5 total pumps on the Makino machines. Okay. And then I had another question that we received ahead of time. Customer asked, so what materials do we have existing cutting technology for? So what are the different materials that we have settings for? This is a very common question because if you don't have a lot of technology, a small database, then your operator's concerned with trying to develop their own technology. So Makino spends a lot of time on technology development. So for the UX machines, we have technology for steel, carbide, tungsten carbide, copper, aluminum, graphite. We have standard settings for titanium, and we have some standard settings for PCD, and we actually have some standard settings as well for silicon carbide. So we have a very large database of technology available. Now, all of those materials are not available at every wire diameter. I just want to point that out. But all those materials are available for the most common wire diameters, which is 10 thou 0.25 mm and 8 thou 0.2 mm. So Daniel's asking the approximate price range of the 2 machines. Well, I don't really like to talk about price. I'm the product manager. So I'm just talking about the features and ability of the machine itself. I will say this, it is our most reasonably priced machine that we offer. So it's going to be in line with any competitor that you may look at in terms of, kind of the general precision type of machine. So Daniel, if you have a question about pricing, please contact your local sales rep and we can get you some pricing on that. Okay. Well, any other questions from anyone? Doesn't look like anything's coming in. Oh, okay. Thank you, Daniel. You're welcome. So if there's no more questions, I just want to thank everyone for taking time today. to spend with us to go over the new machine. I also want to point out that we are having a tech expo in Auburn Hills at Makino's facility in Auburn Hills, Michigan, coming up in April. That will be on April. I got another question coming in. That'll be on April 24th and 25th. So if you're in the area, please stop by and you can take a look at the UX machine in person. Daniel has one more question. He's talking about linear motor. We do not use linear motors, okay, for a wire machine. It's ball screw with servo drives. It is it's dual anchored ball screw, so it's not just hanging out into space. We use linear motors on some machines. Linear motors are good for moving fast, right? From going from one point to the next point quickly, right? That's why they use linear motors in roller coasters, because they go fast. We do not do that with a wire machine. Wire machine does not move that fast. We do have large machines where we use a linear motor, because a linear motor creates more other things that you have to be wary of. It generates a lot of heat, so you need to dissipate that heat and all of that. So that is why we feel linear motors are not really appropriate for a wire EDM machine, but we do use them on other machines at Makino, just not the wire. Josh is asking, will the UX3 and UX6 be on display at IMTS? All I can say right now, Josh, is maybe. I'm not sure if that's the machine that we're going to have there or not. That's still up for debate. We're still finalizing our details for IMTS, but just keep an eye on our website. That we'll start sending out promotion material here for IMTS in the next month or two, and you'll probably be able to see the lineup of what we're going to have there. Okay. Yes, but yes, obviously the UX3 and U will be at the Tech Expo, as I mentioned earlier. So that if you want to come and see the machine, please come up to our Auburn Hills facility on April 24th or 25th, and you can take a look at the machine. So Juan had another question, was a little of a lifetime of the ball screw. So we guarantee ball screws for 10 years. And to keep microns. Well, Makinos are built to be accurate. If you're familiar with Makinos at all, they're very accurate machines. Okay, we build machines square. It's a mechanical build, so we don't use a lot of electronic compensation. So everything's built square, in parallel, hand scraped, so they're very, very accurate. So our ball screws last an extremely long time, especially on a wire EDM machine, because you're not really doing a whole lot of motion. It's not fast motion, right? It's small. It's accurate motion, but it's slower. So you're not really beating up that ball screw. Okay. Well, again, I want to thank everyone for time today, spending some time with us today. And if there's any more questions, please contact your local Makino rep, or you can send me an email. Again, my name is Brian Coward, and contact me anytime with any questions that you may have. So thank you, everyone, and have a great day.